Travis, if you're listening, this is your opportunity to turn yourself in. Do the right thing, do what you need to do, and take accountability for your actions. We're not going to go away, we're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you. You will be brought to justice.
In our spotlight this morning, we're talking about the unspeakable deaths of 3 beautiful little sisters and the massive manhunt that's going on right now for their dad. He is believed to have murdered them. Authorities in central Washington state released these new surveillance photos of Travis Decker over the weekend. They say he's been on the run ever since his children were found dead at a campground when they were with him. 5-year-old Olivia, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 9-year-old Peyton were discovered a week ago. Decker had them for visitation, but never brought them home to their mom. And then authorities found his abandoned truck.
The initial information that we were provided following the locating of the vehicle was that the vehicle was unoccupied. And shortly thereafter, we were advised that the bodies of the 3 young girls had been located in relatively close proximity to that vehicle. And Travis was nowhere to be found.
Now, this is ring camera footage of Decker, previously served in the Army. He has extensive survival training. So the question we're asking this morning, how are they going to find this guy? We want to bring in now a former Army intelligence officer. He's also a private investigator and served in the NYPD as well, Manuel Gomez. And with him, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Mario Gallucci. Good morning to you both. Manuel, let me start with you, please. How will these men and women in law enforcement work to capture this guy safely?
Not that the Governor Ferguson has authorized the use of Air National Guard helicopters and attack helicopters, which have thermal imaging, which can pick up his body and also pick up his heat signature at night, we have a better chance. But the problem with this case is you have a guy here who's completely combat trained. And unfortunately, he's one of my brothers. I was in the 18th Airborne, and he belonged to the 503rd Airborne Combat Team. And so we're trained identically alike. So I understand that he has a 3-day head start. A guy like this in the woods, we're required to do a minimum of 10 to 15 miles a day. That means he has a 30 to 45 mile head start. And remember, Julie, the location he was at is called the Pacific Crest Trail, which leads straight into Canada, and there's multiple access points. My belief is that he's already there.
He's in the wind. Wow. Manuel, a follow-up question for you, please. Knowing how highly skilled this man is, knowing that he has survival skills, probably far beyond what the men and women in law enforcement looking for him may have, how dangerous is he to them?
Extremely dangerous, because we're trained to survive, escape, and evade. And remember, a guy like this, we're trained to carry 7 items, which you can carry on your body and nobody will see, and you can survive off for a year. 1, your K-bar. 2, a piece of magnesium. 3, your poncho liner, which is camouflage. 4, 550 cord. 5, a water purification straw. And 6, a backup knife. With these 6 items, he can turn around, and with a compass, is number 7, he can stay and survive for a year without anybody finding him. This is what we're trained to do. And the police is not prepared for this. But thank God for Governor Ferguson activating the National Guard assets to hunt it down. We need to have people like me, people like the special ops guys, going in there, hunting him down. That's the way you're going to catch him.
Oh boy, Manuel, this is fascinating hearing you speak. Thank you for all that insight. You know, there are a couple ways this could happen, right? This could happen with a capture, that he could be brought in, and then also, he could voluntarily turn himself in. He's been all over the news. Surely he would think that authorities would be looking for him after this event in question. Mario Gallucci, this is where I want to turn to you. As a lawyer, I'm sure you've had circumstances where a defendant has reached out to you and said, can you help me turn myself in safely? Explain to us, please, that process and how you help people like Travis Decker potentially.
Morning, Julie. So you want to work out what's called a voluntary surrender. So you get in touch with the law enforcement that are looking for your client, and you make arrangements to bring them in voluntarily, and it helps your case. You know, when you go before a judge and you're making a bail application, and you could say to the judge that they voluntarily surrendered, they may think differently of posting a bail or not. I mean, in a case like this, he's definitely going to be remanded once caught. Plus, as a defense attorney, you're worried about consciousness of guilt. The more he stays away, the harder it is for you not to keep that charge out if this were to go to trial. So it's imperative that he reach out to somebody and try to arrange for a voluntary surrender.
Boy, this is really helpful, Mario. And then as I'm looking, as you're talking on the screen, his devices, it was discovered that he did make that search. Manuel, you called it that he may be in Canada. He searched online how to relocate to Canada, according to the Sheriff's Department. Knowing that, Mario, does that complicate things a little more? Let's say he is in Canada. How might you go about this arrangement then?
So Canada will extradite to the United States. You would need to work out what's called an extradition. And you would tell your client to waive voluntarily extradition to come back and not fight it. If he fights it, now we have to go to the federal government for the federal government to contact the Canadian government to extradite him back to the United States. It makes it much easier on him to just waive his extradition and come voluntarily back into the jurisdiction if he is in fact Canada.
Oh boy, I appreciate that, Mario. This is really helpful. Manuel, last question to you, please. We saw the Sheriff's Department warning people in the area of the state of Washington where this guy was living and near that campground to be very alert, to lock up items like, you know, sheds in the backyard, make sure your garage is locked, your front door, keep your blinds open, be very on high alert. Would you kind of explain to us why this warning was given to those folks with this guy and the training that he has?
Well, the reason why is because he could, like I said, he's trained to live off the land, trained to go without food for days and days. And he'll go into somebody's barn and slip up into an attic and sleep there for a month or so. You'll never know he was there. Okay. But I don't believe he's doing that. Just like Mario said, he went and researched into, like you said, to Canada, what it is to assimilate into that culture. He's following military protocol to the letter. He's trying to assimilate, he's evading, and he's escaping. And he had his plan, and he's reconned that area. And this guy, like I said, he's by the Pacific Trail. Julie, there's more than 30 entrances to get into Canada. And he picked the perfect spot because Canada right now has strained relations with the United States due to the political environment with the president. So a lot of these Canadians are not feeling Americans. So going after them full force, I don't think they're going to as much as we hope they will. And that's the problem, and that's his benefit.
Boy, such great analysis, just brilliant. Manuel Gomez, Mario Gallucci, thank you both so much for the great conversation. We'll keep everybody posted if we get any more information on this case.